What's up, YouTube? Welcome to more trades. I wanted to post this video to help you guys see how to find assets that are tradable or higher probable trades. Before I get into it, please smash the likes and subscribe to the channel and click the notifications on. And I'm going to get into it. One more thing before I get into it, I would like to show you something that I stumbled upon, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Essentially, it's a Bitcoin trust. People buy buy the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust stocks. They don't really own Bitcoin, but in return to get exposed to the same to be able to trade and get exposed to Bitcoin without have to owning Bitcoin. Now, looking at this chart, this is a weekly candle. You could put it on the weekly and see that you had a crazy weekly candle and we had a spike up and spike down. Now, this spike up, you could see that apart from the spike up, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust somewhat front runs Bitcoin. This was the all-time high, the first high for Bitcoin, 64K, and this was at 57, and then this one formed a low at 54.6, while Bitcoin formed a higher high at 69K. So by looking at this, and if you had this chart, you would know you had a high, a low, a lower high, and a lower low, and you would know that you are most probably coming down. And look at this on the weekly, it looks like a three-wave correction. So this Grayscale Bitcoin Trust kind of front runs Bitcoin. So far it looks like it's been doing that. Now, this spike up from the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust happened first before the spike down. I know that by looking at the 4-hourly chart, it seems it went up, then it came down. The up move took this asset, I'll keep it on the weekly for clarity. The up move took this asset to where Bitcoin would call 47K, in my opinion. This was a 47K region, and it went all the way down, and at the moment this asset is trading at $14, which would be essentially the it would be below the 25K region. Is this asset front-running Bitcoin? Is it telling us what could happen? That Bitcoin can have a move up, or could it have a move down? Because this asset has done the business. It's gone all the way up to the 47K region, and it came down to this region, which I don't have much data on this chart, but judging or measuring the movement on the weekly, taking the length using a measuring tool and taking it from the low of this asset of the previous week, because that's all I have, and I take it to the low of this week, it brings me down to around 76%. A 76% drop on Bitcoin today on the weekly. If we go on the weekly for Bitcoin from the previous week to 76%, that will bring Bitcoin down to sub 5K region. 76%. There you go. That's 4,628. Is it possible? Is that chart front running Bitcoin and telling us what could happen in Bitcoin? I just wanted to drop it out there so you guys can have a bit of a different perspective of what things are happening. On the other hand, Bitcoin has broken out of that channel that I showed you earlier, and I posted about in the community post, and it's going to most probably back test this. The move out, you could say it was volume supported. We had a spike in volume compared to the last spike that happened on the same day, but not much of volume, but it is a small spike. You could say it's a spike. We've broken out, and our levels of resistance, as I mentioned before, for starters, we'll have the 50 EMA coming in at around 17,105 at the moment. So that's something to consider. We might be breaking back in, and we'll have to change the channel. Now, going back to finding assets that are tradable, I go to websites where I can see percentage gains of assets, or I can just go on TradingView and look at the hot list that I have, the red list. I see the percentage loss or gain. So 6% loss, 6% on Solana is not much. Matic at 20%, 10%. So Matic could be a good buy. I'm not telling you to trade it. I'm not trading it. I just bought some Matic today because I thought it's in a good discount. I also bought a bit of Ethereum and Bitcoin, just in case we start rotating to the upside. So 10%, this is an asset I would consider maybe too long. And we go to UNFI. I don't trade this particularly. Link is at almost 10%, 9% discount, but it looks like it's not trying to rotate to the upside. Let's see so I look at percentages, I come to the chart and I look at the asset. Where is it in the chart? So Link is bouncing off the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement. So that's a good spot. There is a chance we might be rotating to the upside. On the 15-minute, we're still below the 50. Volume is dropping on this move down. Volume is dropping, so we might have a spike up. And then I look at the next levels of resistance using Fibonacci and EMAs on higher time frames. Now I'll go and give you an example. So that's how I look at the percentages, and this is how I found trades last week, good trades on Litecoin. I was looking at the gainers. There was some that gained so much. You remember the pump that we had, crazy pumps. Let's go to Dogecoin, because Dogecoin looks like it's attempting a breakout. Dogecoin was up 10%, now we're down 8%. It seems like we might have a follow through. We had a vector candle over here that came up and recovered this vector candle. Remember, I always tell you about the pattern that Bitcoin forms, sort of a leg down, consolidation, and a leg up. It doesn't have to be a perfect, what would you call it? A perfect semi-rectangle or something like that. But that's the pattern you see a lot in crypto and other assets. Now we had this big candle, big exhaustive move. Another big move. I am waiting for another big move. You could see the targets. I posted them in my other video about Dogecoin. But if you just look at this chart, I have the 200 EMA incoming on the 1 hourly. If we break the 200 EMA on the 1 hourly and break it and start opening and closing candles above it on the 1 hour chart or even the 4 hour chart, because we were below it since 7th of November. So it will be sort of a change of momentum on Dogecoin. I mean, whenever we're below it, definitely it's resistance. So for me, if I were to trade this, first of all, I'll take my trend-based fib and assume this is a move up, a correction. I'll take it to the top of the move and again to the bottom of the move. And what do you know? Dogecoin is getting rejected at the 0.618 extension. And it is a horizontal level. And I can tell you by just look at it, it could be a fixed range volume profile, probably a point of control or a value area high. Let's take a fixed range volume profile and look at it. We are above the value area high, so that's kind of bullish on the hourly. We are hitting resistance, so you don't long into resistance. And you are approaching a significant EMA, which is the 200 EMA on the 1 hour chart. The 4 hour chart, you can see how big that candle is. If we are to break this, then I'll be looking at Dogecoin for a reaction or rejection at 0.10265, or even the 1.618 at 0.11752. But for me, I'm not going to long it. Other people would long it because it is it has broken out of the channel and it is having a follow through. Unlike Bitcoin, which is attempting to break back into the channel, Dogecoin seems like it broke through the channel. So if we take, if we erase all this and we take a channel over here on Dogecoin, and we see where's the parallel channel tool over here, and we take it from this spike up and bring it down, and we bring it to the bottom over here. You can see we had a breakout and a follow through. So Dogecoin is looking a bit better than Bitcoin in terms of the breakout. There are people who took the breakout. If you were looking at this in hindsight, you broke out, you came in, wicked in with the low volume, you broke out with volume, you wicked in with low volume, you had another candle with a small volume, then this follow through candle is equal to or more than the volume of the previous candle. Now let me put back those targets so you can keep your eye on them if you're interested in chancing a trade. I don't think so. I'm going to trade it. I'm already focusing on my other trades, but depending on how it goes, you never know. I might take it, I might not. I'm just giving you levels to watch out. It will also be the high average daily range for Doge. If we go to the 1-to-1, it will be the M5 pivot point as well. And if we get rejected from the M5, then you would be coming down maybe to the M3. That is around here, 0.08972. And you could be also coming down to another level. You might go up to, the 1.618. That will be close to your psychological low. Now say you went to the 1-to-1 extension and you want to know, how do you take profits? How is it? How do you decide on taking profit? Different traders do it different ways. I do it different ways, but I'll show you one way that you could use as a beginner, and it's very useful. Now if you go to the 1-to-1 extension, how do I know? Okay, I take my Fibonacci tool, I take it from the previous down, the swing low, and I go all the way to the high that we're at, possibly the 1-to-1 is, we're predicting what could happen. I see us possibly coming down to these levels, the 0.382, 0.5, 0.618, and I look at them and I look for a reaction, or I take some profit and I wait for